In Gaza, the number of Palestinians killed so far amounts to 28,473, although a higher figure is estimated because many are under the rubble. According to the UN, criminal groups in Haiti are increasing their activity. And Indian authorities deployed a harsh security mechanism against the march of thousands of farmers to New Delhi who demand protection of prices of their crops. Hello and welcome to From the South. My name is Belén de los Santos, and from the TeleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba, we begin with the news. Israel is perpetrating the most heinous massacre in the century. The number of Palestinians killed so far amounts to 28,473, although a higher figure is estimated because many are under the rubble. The Gazan authorities have delivered a new report of the victims of the genocidal operation. In the last 24 hours, the occupying troops committed 16 massacres in the Palestinian enclave, killing 133 civilians and injuring 162 others. According to the register, the number of wounded amounts to 68,146. Both killed and injured are mostly women and children. It is estimated that they represent more than 80% of the victims of this genocide. The number of bodies under the rubble, missing and kidnapped could overwhelmingly raise the statistics. On Tuesday, the Ezzadine al-Qassam Brigades, the military wing of the Palestinian Islamic Resistance Movement Hamas, announced in their social networks Telegram that Zionist occupation forces killed 3 Israeli citizens. In this regard, the Ezzadine al-Qassam Brigade stressed that the 3 dead Israeli citizens were among the 8 captives who were seriously wounded in the raids of the Gaza Strip. On the other hand, the statement stressed that the identity of the victims targeted by the military attacks of its own government will be revealed as soon as they know the medical conditions of the wounded, a situation that has been worsening in recent hours due to the lack of medical supplies and medicines to assist them. The city of Rafah in the Gaza Strip is devastated after the Israeli occupation army bombing in the night of this February 12th. For the most populated area of the Gaza Strip, our correspondent Nur Harasin sends us all the details.
Evacuation efforts continue here in Rafah following one of the most deadly nights in this city that is the most densely populated area in Gaza. Now, as you can see behind me, this is one of the homes that were targeted in the Israeli airstrikes, and the bulldozers are actually trying to move some of the rubble just to check if there is someone alive still under the rubble. This is actually very hard and also expensive thing to do, as fuel now in Gaza is very expensive and it is rarely entering the Gaza Strip through the Rafah border. However, the families do have hope, so they have to do it in the sake of evacuating the bodies of those who got killed or those who are still alive under the rubble. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, the number of people who were killed in Gaza since the 7th of October is now over 28,500, and we are talking also about more than 8,000 people that are missing. So as we mentioned many times before, we are talking about a catastrophic number. Around more than 35,000 people were killed in Gaza since the 7th of October. People here on the ground actually are shocked by the number, and they are shocked by the silence of the international community, because people here on the ground did have hope that the world, the international community, the Arab and Muslim countries will somehow intervene and stop this Israeli inhumane war on Gaza, and also stop Israel's starvation war on the coastal enclave. Nur Harasin, TeleSUR, Gaza.
Palestinian local media reported on Monday that Israeli forces left more than 200 dead in Gaza after carrying out more than 50 airstrikes against the city of Rafah during the last 24 hours. The Palestinian Health Ministry confirmed that 67 dead have arrived at healthcare centers, while operations are still underway to recover the dead. The Health Ministry reported that the work has been delayed due to the lack of equipment and the destruction in the area. Authorities pointed out that during the bombardment, Tel Aviv destroyed more than 14 houses and set fire to the Al-Quds Mosque, which would confirm the use of internationally banned weapons. About 7,000 Palestinians have been arrested by the Israeli army and police in the West Bank since the beginning of the attacks on October 7, 2023. The Palestinian Prisoners Club and the Ex-Prisoners Commission denounced the systematic campaign of arrest in the territory and condemned the increased raids and destruction of the Palestinian homes. Both groups noted that during that period, the Israeli forces ordered more than 2,850 administrative detentions, a procedure used to arrest Palestinians for renewable intervals, usually ranging from 3 to 6 months on the basis of undisclosed evidence, which even the defendant lawyers are forbidden to see. According to official data, during the last 5 months, 6,950 Palestinian citizens have been imprisoned. The state of Palestine called on the parties concerned to prevent the imminent bloodshed in Rafah, where thousands of citizens have been displaced in the last 24 hours. The Foreign Ministry urged all countries to intervene and make Israel uphold its obligations under the Geneva Convention and in line with the International Court of Justice preventive measures orders, including by immediately imposing sanctions and an arms embargo. Finally, they pointed out that the world leaders have a historic responsibility to prevent Israel from launching a ground assault on Rafah and the foreseeable apocalyptic consequences. The International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor, Karim Khan, on Monday voiced deep concern about a possible Israeli ground offensive into Rafah in Gaza, warning that anyone breaching international law could be held accountable. Karim Khan said in a statement published on X, formerly Twitter, that his office investigation into events in Gaza is being taken forward as a matter of utmost urgency. The ICC opened a probe on 2021 into Israel's as well as Hamas and other armed Palestinian groups for possible war crimes in the Palestinian territories. Khan has previously said this investigation now extends to the escalation of hostilities and violence since the attacks that took place on October 7th in 2023.
That the laws of war must be respected. They can't be rendered hollow. They can't be interpreted so as to void them of meaning or to dilute or eviscerate any protective purpose that the Geneva Conventions and the law provides the most vulnerable children, women, people that are sick, or civilians. They must be interpreted with full protection. The risks to civilians is profound, and I'm concerned, and I had to underline the fact that there's no blank check. There is an active investigations, and all people, all parties are on notice. The Israel government is on notice, officials, members of the military are on notice that we are investigating. If there are crimes, we'll get to the bottom of it.
And with TeleSUR, you can now celebrate one of the largest festivals in the South American continent. Gladys Quesada brings you all the details in this Carnival Time 2024. Tune in every day this week at 7 p.m. Caracas time through our Facebook Live at TeleSUR English Official and X account at TeleSUR English and discover our most colorful celebrations. Other stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. The Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights reported on Tuesday that criminal groups in Haiti are increasing their activity. As a result, hundreds of citizens have become displaced by this war between criminal groups and the government. Although these criminal groups have lost up to 300 of its members, in the month of January alone, violence does not decrease. Citizens claim that the exchanges of fire last for hours, which suggests that they have received more ammunition. In the midst of war, civilians are injured, abducted, murdered, and women and girls continue to be sexually abused. The serious situation is expected to be reviewed on Tuesday at the UN Security Council. On Monday in Cuba started the second international meeting of theoretical publications of left-wing parties and movements. The event is taking place at the Convention Palace in the capital city of Havana and will last until Wednesday, February 14th. The forum brings together intellectuals, parties, movements, and popular forces from Cuba and 32 other countries to discuss the importance of unity and the position of youth in the face of fascism and neo-fascism. The meeting is considered important for progressive and leftist forces, given the worsening of the international crisis, the rise of governments of the extreme right-wing ideology, and the delay in the emergence of the new multipolar world order. On Sunday, a survey revealed that 86% of U.S. citizens consider that President Joe Biden is too old to serve a second term. A survey by ABC News and the consulting company Ipsos again revealed that U.S. citizens' concerns about Joe Biden's age. The survey shows that 73% of the Democrats think Biden, at 81, is too old to hold the office, while 35% of Republicans believe the same about Trump. The survey comes to light days after Special Attorney Robert Hure's report was made public, which cast questions on Biden's cognitive abilities, which he referred to Biden as understanding, well-intentioned elder with a bad memory. On Sunday in El Salvador, opposition parties announced that they withdrew from the final vote counting of February 4th legislative elections after reporting irregularities promoted by the ruling party. In this way, the president of the Arena Party, Carlos Garcia Sade, reiterated that the measure is due to the Supreme Electoral Tribunal not providing the conditions for a transparent process. In this sense, he stated that they were witnesses of the manipulation of the counting system and criticized the entry of vigilance without credentials from Nayib Bukele's party despite being prohibited. In this sense, also representatives of the Vamos party, Nuestro Tiempo, and Arena stated that they consider requesting the nullity of the elections of deputies to the Legislative Assembly due to the anomalies in the electoral process.
If up to 4 substitute magistrates have already decided to say that this process, that they are departing from this process, it is because even they know about the fraud that has happened here. They know about the crazy things that those magistrates, the owners, have done. And well, we as parties are not going to endorse. We are not going to continue endorsing this. Unfortunately, we trust the court. But here we are in this big problem.
The High Commissioner for Peace in Colombia, Oti Patiño, described the arms stoppage decreed by the National Liberation Army, the ELN, as disloyal to the agreements. Patiño thus assured on Monday that he gave statements from the Palace of Nariño, headquarters of the national government. In reference to this stoppage and other acts of violence that have occurred in the departments of Cauca and Nariño, the High Commissioner assured that they threaten the lives and freedoms of thousands of citizens. The Western War Front, Omar Gomez of the ELN, declared an armed strike on February 8th after accepting the extension of a truce on February 6th during the sixth round of negotiations held in Cuba. This armed stoppage often restricts the movement of vehicles and roads and the mobility of people, threatening attacks on those who transit the tracks, even if they are in caravans escorted by the army. In Argentina, community kitchens continue to demand the delivery of food. The Union of Workers of the Popular Economy filed on Monday an injunction for the Ministry of Human Capital to deliver food to community dining rooms. In this sense, the document states that there is a budget to provide assistance, but the state inaction generates that many people cannot have access to a daily meal. Furthermore, the text points out that the main right affected is food for those who attend the community kitchens and depend on them to survive. In turn, they point out that since Javier Milei assumed the presidency, the spaces have stopped receiving any type of input or transfer of funds. We have a second short break coming up, but before, we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience. You can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and also share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin America and the Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSUR. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. In Poland, farmers maintain a blockade on the border with Ukraine, blocking the entry into the European Union of at least 1,000 trucks loaded with Ukrainian products. The blockade is in response to the European Commission's decision to maintain the tariff privileges enjoyed by agricultural products from Kiev. The demonstrators assured that opening the control of the European bloc to the benefit of Kiev was a mistake that causes problems to the agricultural system of the European Union. According to Ukrainian authorities, the demonstrators have prevented the circulation of trucks in both directions, and only about 145 trucks managed to cross the border in the last 24 hours. According to data, between 1,000 and 1,400 trucks loaded with foodstuffs from Ukraine crossed the border with Poland daily before the protests. Indian authorities deployed a harsh security mechanism against the march of thousands of farmers to New Delhi who demand protection of prices of their crops. The police have deployed barriers with sharp wires, spikes, and concrete blocks to prevent the passage of tractors and trucks. They've also thrown tear gas from a drone in Haryana. From this place and from Punjab, thousands of farmers started their protest march to demand a guaranteed minimum support price for all their products and for the government to fulfill their promise made in 2021, according to which they would double their income. In El Callao, Venezuela, some 850 kilometers southeast of Caracas, the capital, one of the most iconic carnivals of the country, which has been declared intangible heritage of humanity, comes to life. We review its genesis and the history of mixed cultures that led to it in this report by Leonel Retamal.
We are en route to the southeast region of Venezuela, crossing hot areas in Miranda, the oil wells in Anzoátegui, and going beyond the mighty Caroni River. To the south, in the state of Bolívar, bordering Brazil, in the valley of El Callao, on the banks of the Uruguay River, is a land of gold, calypso, and soccer. In 1876, the first soccer match ever held in Venezuela took place here. As we arrive, we are greeted by the giant statues of the Black Madams Isidora and Lulu Basanta, historical defenders of this land and its carnival. To learn more, we meet with Cultora Emilia Murati and with town's historian Fraima Orsini, heirs of a family tradition rooted in the town's origins.
We got migrants from the Antilles who arrived by the Merara, by the Cuyuni River, by the part of the Essequibo, because those were colonies, one French and one English. Once these colonies disintegrated, the gold rush began in El Callao, originally in Nueva Providencia, today's Caratal.
Reverend Madame from the Anglican Church of El Callao, descendant of the town's founders, describes a similar path.
Vinieron hacia Trinidad, y de Trinidad a Venezuela era un paso.
They came to Trinidad due to the proximity of Trinidad and Venezuela. Many settled in Sucre, but many continued down to El Callao and settled in Guyana, in Georgetown, to get to the Cuyuní River and then to the Yuruari River, which connects with El Callao.
It is said that the town's name derived from the fact that the miner who discovered a vein of gold told no one about it. But there is another version about a Peruvian migrant who named it in honor of the port of Lima. In any case, truth is that the town's history and present are marked by gold mining and migrations.
We come from a culture, a mixture of phrases that make this town a special town.
El Callao, mi pueblo, un pueblo especial, tiene ricas minas y su carnaval.
All these people, instead of going back to where they came from, brought people from the Antilles, from Martinique, Saint Lucia, Saint Martin, Grenada, etc. So,
de San Martín, Grenada, etc. En lugar de devolverse y devolver a sus empleados.
Instead of returning home, they brought along their employees because by then there was no slavery. They were employees who came of their own free will. Instead of returning to France or to England, they joined the rush goal here. They brought investment and machinery and settled in Nueva Providencia, and that led to the foundation of the town of El Callao.
Although there are records on music and popular festivities dating back 150 years relating protest drums, it is in the early 1950s that the carnival took shape in its current format of comparsas and groups with traditional characters and music.
We do not have an exact date for the start of the carnival. Our ancestors, the people from the Antilles, brought their traditional music. They gathered to sing, not just calypso. In 1880, the first drum beats were heard in Nueva Providencia. It was a traditional African drum.
El Callao, which vibrates to the rhythm of the contagious calypso rhythm, struggles to maintain its cultures and tradition, a very peculiar syncretism even within Venezuela.
Leonel Retamal y Marcos da Silva, TeleSUR, El Callao, Estado Bolívar, Venezuela.
And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, my name is Belén de los Santos. Thank you for watching.